I want to know what Dave thinks about Tucker essentially calling Charlie Kirk a heretic by saying that anybody who's a Christian Zionist is a heretic. I mean, that was Charlie Kirk, was it not?
Okay, but I mean, I think obviously he's speaking about evangelical Christians in general and saying that this violates the Bible, like to make it about Charlie Kirk.
And that's a circle that Charlie Kirk fits inside. It applies to him.
Okay, but so he's criticizing a view that Charlie Kirk had. Yeah, I disagreed with Charlie on that too. So what's your point?
He said he hates those people more than he said he hates those people more than anybody else and called them heretics. And yet he spoke at Charlie Kirk's memorial so glowingly. How do you reconcile those two things?
Yeah, he obviously didn't hate Charlie Kirk. There you go. Come on. This is like ridiculous. Yes, he's making a point that he thinks that actually the Christians who put Israel above their own government and believe that like only Jesus can come back if the Jews control the area, that is goofy, and I agree.
Yeah, well, if you say you hate people that have Charlie's views, then you're saying you hate Charlie.
Yeah, okay.
I don't.
Good. If that's the argument you want to go with, okay.
Actually, the argument I'd like to go with is that Seth Dillon is a liar, which is why 2 days before Charlie Kirk was killed, he was explicit in saying he was left with no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause, which would mean he didn't die a Christian Zionist, right? Common sense, Charlie in his own words. And Seth Dillon, you're aware of this because you put him through 2 weeks before the struggle session in the Hamptons, what was it, August 5th and 6th, pressing him on the things that he said about Bibi Netanyahu. He was hosting people to have that discussion. But, I guess for some Zionists, you would say it was almost fortunate that Charlie Kirk is no longer here to take that last step that you knew he was taking. You didn't want another Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens, people who were very much in the pro-Israel camp, and left it because we could not stand your immorality, we could not stand your lies, and we could not possibly think that God's chosen people would allow it. Okay, God's chosen people don't lie. God's chosen people don't kill hundreds of thousands of people and then try to tell you that they're the victim because they're spending tons of money on Christian Zionists. And yes, it is absolutely a heresy to get up on stage and to lie about what is in the Bible, to try to use it to manipulate people, to tell them that what's right here in the Bible is that they shouldn't follow Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens. And yes, I would deem you to be, therefore, a heretic. So I hope I'm clear about what I think you are. Right? People of your ilk are people that pretend to be Christians and make a ton of videos, some of them simply because they're paid to do so, some of them because they're in the military and these are their instructions, and manipulate people who are well-meaning and want to become close to God by telling them that they won't be saved unless they support this abomination in the Middle East. So anyways, this leads us, of course, Charlie's last words in that text chain. He fought tooth and nail to make sure that Tucker Carlson stayed on the Turning Point USA speaking list. That's the reality, okay? That's the reality. Those were virtually his last public words that we can read from his private text exchanges, was that he wanted Tucker Carlson. And now you're trying to convince us that the best way to honor him would be not to listen to what Charlie Kirk himself said. This leads us to another episode of our new smash hit HBO series, Micro Series, which I executively produce. Take a listen.
And he basically said, I don't appreciate being morally blackmailed. And, and every time people would say that to him, he would dig his heels in. It's like, well, maybe Tucker's going to give 2 speeches now at AmFest.
She's got the screenshots from an internal chat that Charlie was doing with TPUSA. And right up there, it says, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year, because we won't cancel Tucker. And I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Whoa!
A few moments later. It brings me no pleasure to criticize Tucker Carlson as much as I have been doing. But he has become the leading tip of the spear of what can only be described as a cancerous force threatening to engulf the entire American right.
They just can't stop, man. They just cannot curb that Zionism. They can't do it. We'll see. We'll keep notations on these individuals. Anyways, I wanted to read this email that came in because yesterday in the Q&A section, somebody had asked, what do you think Charlie meant when he said that he wanted you to be as David? And I took the obvious answer, which was to slay a Goliath, right? To slay the Goliath. And somebody wrote me this email and reminded me, of course, of the narrative beyond David slaying Goliath, David and his unique friendship with Jonathan in the Bible. And I am going to read that email to you. Somebody wrote, Candace, David and Jonathan were biblical figures from the Bible who shared a deep and profound friendship, forming a covenant of mutual support. Jonathan was the son of King Saul, and David was a shepherd who became a great warrior and future king. Their bond was strong, despite the fact that Saul became jealous of David's success, leading him to threaten David. Their bond, the friendship began after clearly does not have a soul after Waited to Charlie. Clearly is trying to pretend that he's Charlie's friend and now trying to use Charlie's legacy by pretending that somehow Tucker Carlson is not a true friend to Charlie because Charlie didn't like Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson spoke to him. Watch this. Truly, this is a psychological operation. These people are nutty. Take a listen.